Esther, good evening. Hello.
Hi, sir.
Good. What is the timing now?
Mine it's
I
12:24,
don't
sir.
think you've switched on
So we are
my
not holding on to
audio,
lunch. Barbe
my
sir, good
No,
video.
no,
evening.
no. It's
Good
not,
evening,
sir.
sir. Good
It's okay.
evening.
Patil sir, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So we'll just wait for another 5 minutes. We can start on time.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Madam has joined. Esther, Madam has joined.
No, no. She's joining, I think.
Acha, so ठीक है. Just reminder. How far we are from her?
Oh, I think I'm here 2 hours, sir.
Acha, 2 hours. Just reminder. She
Sir.
must be busy. As a
Yes,
reminder, we
yes.
can start the program in time.
Yes, sir.
दर्पण has joined.
Sir.
दर्पण भी नहीं ज्वाइन किया है.
Hmm.
इसको कहाँ है उनका ग्रुप वाले? Barbe sir has joined. Patil sir has joined. दर्पण किधर है?
Hi, Ananta.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Trying to see how we can change.
Do you have slides?
I did send some slides, but I told people that I'm okay either ways. Even if we are not sharing slides, that's fine. If we are doing, that's fine. So I'm flexible. What about you?
I had some slides, but again, I think I'll share my own screen because I made it on.
Okay, I'll see if I can share mine. Let me check how. Hi, Darpan. Hello.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Hello.
Ananta.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Ananta.
Good evening, Mishra sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Alkesh, are you there? Is Alkesh there?
Yes, madam.
Okay,
Okay.
just join.
And
So
Dr.
by
Srinivas
6
sir
we
is
can
there?
start.
Yes.
Alkesh, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Alkesh, Barve sir is there?
Yeah, he's
Yes,
connected.
yes, sir is there. Sir has joined from the very beginning.
Yes, yes.
Barbe sir, Patil sir, both have joined. So
Oh,
we'll just wait for another 5-10 minutes.
sir,
We'll
we'll wait
start.
just 2-3 minutes more.
Hmm.
Then before Alkesh, we formally begin, remind the person to start the recording.
I think it's already recording.
Oh, sorry, recording? Fine,
I
fine.
can't see it.
Yes, the recording is started.
But, yeah, I just wanted to say, I think I told you, Darpan, I have to finish by around 7 because I have to drop my daughter to the airport after that because I know we are starting at 6 instead of 5:30. So I have to finish somewhere around 7, 7:05,
So we shall
maybe.
start
Yes,
sharp
madam, that is fine.
6
We'll
with
start.
it's 5:58.
Yeah.
We can start sharp by 6, Mishra sir.
Just 5 minutes. Madam can finish by 6:40 also. Then
Okay.
Asta can continue. Asta is not in a hurry, na?
No, no.
So Asta can continue. Madam can finish. And
Yeah,
she
whichever,
can.
whatever suits. Yeah.
Yes, yes, madam. Don't worry. You will finish as soon as and you can go and join to bring your daughter. So then Asta can continue.
Okay.
How much time will you need, madam?
I mean,
Half an hour, 45
I'm
minutes.
flexible. I mean, I don't know exactly how much time. Please stop me when you think I need to finish. I can talk for 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on what, but maybe 20 minutes, because then there'll be time for Astha to present and then questions and discussion. I can stay, as I said, a bit beyond 7 o'clock, but not till 7:30.
No, no, madam. You don't have to stay, madam. You have to go and
Okay.
look after the daughter. So
Okay.
Asta will continue and will finish up.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
don't do
For
nothing
the
to be.
technical person, please note there are two
ड्राइवर से
screen
कहीं फोन होता
shares. Whose A screen share that is visible? Can you close that?
This is my screen share.
Alkesh, your screen share?
This is my screen share. So
And
should I start?
there are two screen shares, Alkesh, on
What
the.
is mine?
Will you be able to make it one? Who is the second screen share? That was previous one was great, Alkesh.
Okay, I'll start it.
Okay, wait, Alkesh. When you begin your welcome, at that time you do the screen share. Yes.
So we'll start now. 5 minutes.
Alkesh, just wait for 2 3 minutes. Just tell your somebody, friend or somebody to just give a
Yes.
ring to the people who are expected to join. Okay? Because only 15 people are there. Just wait for another for 5 minutes. And
Yes,
you can
sir.
tell somebody to remind the people because people, I told you at the evening time. So people must be having some other problem. Just tell somebody to give a ring in the, or to again remind people in the groups. Okay. So you can start by around 6 5. So there shouldn't be any issue.
Darpan, do you have my slides, or do you think you can open them?
Yes, I have your slide, madam.
Yes, I
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
forwarded
Dr. Alkesh.
both slides
And
to
you,
Dr. Alkesh.
okay.
You have Ananta ma'am and Astha slides, right, as a backup?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Alkesh, you want to start your video camera?
It's not getting on, so that's why.
Okay, no problem.
Darpan, you've had a busy weekend organizing 2 webinars.
Alkesh, just tell somebody to remind the people in the group because they must have forgotten being the Sunday evening.
Yes, sir. I
Then we
already
can join.
posted again, yes, sir.
Yeah, put somebody on the job to just remind again in the group.
Alkesh, maybe
Yes, sir.
on the EC group, you can put the Zoom link again and share the Zoom link live across different WhatsApp groups so that people can join in. And request everybody else also to who are attending to share it, the Zoom link in various groups now so that some more people can join in once they get the notification.
Okay, sir, we'll start.
Okay.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Alkesh Patil, current chairperson for Arts and Cultural Subcommittee for this academic year. And I welcome you all for our first program. And for this program, we have our moderator, Dr. Rajendra Barve, sir. Dr. Rajendra Barve is a consultant psychiatrist by training and a facilitator and coach by design. A student of Mumbai University, he taught at
You
MD.
don't have to read everything.
Yes, sir. We all know him, and I'll request Dr. Barve to take over as a moderator for today's program. So I'll share my next,
Okay.
which he wanted to
Okay.
speak.
Okay. I just wanted
I'll stop my
to
sharing.
make a point here. Okay. I just want to make a point here
Yes, sir.
that I'm so glad that we have a small number. We have gathered here to talk about poetry, more artistic aspect of life. And as psychiatrists and mental health professionals, we need to pay so much attention to expressions and communications which come from people as well as come from within. Because in terms of people and physicians and clinicians, we are all connected to emotional well-being of people as well as self. And art is the greatest form in which one can express, communicate the deeper feelings and create insight for themselves. That is why I think this session becomes very important, that we do that very conscientiously. We may be doing it with our friends, or a cup of tea, or sometimes a late evening beer or something. But that is a very informal way of interacting. But a formal way, जैसे महफिल है, एक मजलिस है, जहाँ पर हम इकट्ठा हुए हैं और ये सोच के इकट्ठा हुए हैं कि हमको एक दूसरे को कुछ कहना है। जो कहना है बहुत बेहतरीन है, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, और हर का एक मुख्तलिफ तरीका होता है बात करने का, सोचने का, कहने का। तो ये हमको समझना बहुत जरूरी है। तो संस्कृत में एक सुभाषित, आई थिंक यू कैन पुट ऑन द slide, which is beautifully captures what we are doing. It talks about काव्य शास्त्र विनोदेन कालो गच्छति धीमताम व्यसनेन च मूर्खाणां निद्रया कलहेन वा, which captures the very essence of us coming together. It talks about Kavya, Shastra, and Vinoda. Now it's very important that here they're using very no, wait. Kavya is a poetry, Shastra is way of doing things. It's not Vijnana, it's not a Jnana, it is not Vidya, it's not Kavya Vidya Vinodena, it is Kavya Shastra Vinodena. Vinodena is just fun part of life. The Visangati, the contradictions in life are source of inspiration and source of also deeper insight into life. And what do Dhimatam do? Dhimatam is one who are intelligent people. Dhi is buddhi. Those who are intelligent, they kalo gacchati. They spend their time. They spend their time creating, listening to poetry, understanding people's ways, and having fun or being able to enjoy. And those who are not dhimatam, what do? Vyasanena cha murkhanam nidraya kalahinava. They're doing four things. व्यसन करते हैं, कोई खराब चीज करते हैं, ऐसा करते हैं कि जिसमें व्यसन is also kind of too much involvement in your own work. Murkhana, that means you just spend time with foolish people, or they sleep, or they just keep on fighting. And that is how people spend time. But we are going to spend time Kavya Shastra Vinodena. So we are doing absolutely right as ordered by our own people in the past, and they have given us a beautiful guidance about how do we learn about life. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to have four stories to tell. Rumi is a very favorite poem of mine, who is in the 13th century. And he's a great poet. He's like a saint poet, you can say. And when he came in contact with his teacher, Shams, his life changed completely, and he wrote something which is so ethereal, which is so beautiful, which is so deep, which is so spiritual and so much enlightening that reading one line of what Rumi has written, one single line, it completely changes our perspective. He talks about womanhood. She is a ray of God. You see, understand this in the 13th century. He was born in Afghanistan. The kind of attitude that he had towards women, he talks about they are a ray of God. She's not earthly. She's not just a beloved, because time was spent talking about women's beauty and she's just a beloved, but she's creative, embodiment of divinity. If that was, am I audible? So from there we switch to Shelley, who also makes a very powerful statement about poetry. And he says, our sweetest songs are those that tell us saddest stories. Such a poignant statement coming from a poet. Something that tells us about our saddest truths of life, saddest thoughts of life. They are the ones which bring the sweetest songs. So all of you may be familiar with the old Hindi film song 50s and 60s and 40s, Sahir and Shailendra and all that. They talk about the pain and suffering of life, and the sweet melodies are coming from there. So Shelley links beauty in art to depth of feeling, sorrow distilled into insight. So if you listen to Sahir, the sorrowfulness of life gives a great insight into what life is all about. So beautifully stated by the earlier poets. And Keats has written an ode to melancholy, where he understands melancholy, sadness, deep sadness. And he describes it beautifully. But when the melancholy fit shall fall sudden from heaven, like a weeping cloud that fosters the droop-headed flowers all. It's like so picturesque that you almost see it in front of your eyes. That fosters the droop-headed flowers all and hides the green hill in an April shroud. So everything becomes काफी धुंधलाहट सी हो जाती है, कुछ दिखाई नहीं देता. Then what Keats wants to say, then glut thy sorrow on a morning rose, or on the wealth of clobbled peonies. And then he says, or thy mistress some rich anger shows, imprison her soft hand and let her rave and feed deep, deep upon her peerless eyes. Now, Shelley makes a very important point about melancholy, which he sees only as we look at it only as a melancholic disorder. We see it as a major depressive disorder. But he has a entirely different take on melancholy. And he talks about what do we do when we are feeling melancholic? What do we do? Melancholy to weeping cloud, bouts of sadness are natural, even fertile part of human experience. You cannot be away from the sorrowfulness. You can't be away from a weeping cloud. They are as natural as happiness. Feast on beauty, a morning rose, a rainbow, or peonies when they are sad. Experience them fully, be with them. And what is the human connection? The stanza ends with a shift from nature to human passion. If loved one is angry, Keats suggests not to argue or flee, but to hold her hand and feed deep upon her eyes. He's advocating for staying present in the eternity of the moment, intensity of the moment, even if the moment is painful. To stay, just to stay with that sense of foreboding, sense of impending doom. So this is what kids want to say. There are several very beautiful haikus too, but they're too complex to explain. But I came across this very beautiful poem. It's in Marathi, but I can explain to you. It's by a very famous poet called Balkavi. He describes the sense of melancholy as seen through the eyes of a sad person. He talks of Bhinta khachali kalathuna khamba gela. Bhinta khachali kalathuna khamba gela. Juni padki udhvast dharmashala. जुनी पडकी उद्ध्वस्त धर्मशाला तिच्या कौलारी बसून पारवा तो खिन्न नीरस एकांत गीत गातो. It reminds me of Buddha's first gatha when he became enlightened. When he talks about the walls have collapsed, everything has collapsed, and I had built the pain and suffering all this life after life. Now that I've known, Gahakarak Dittosi, now that I've seen who has built this dukkha, this sorrow, this suffering, I have built it through that attachment. And everything is gone. And Sankharam Khayama Jaga, everything is now dissolving. And I'm at peace with myself. So poetry always brings deep insight into how we live. It tells so much about ourselves that no therapist can teach. It's just a self-introspective feeling, and so beautifully described ultimately by Freud as an oceanic feeling, being able to one with the world, experience the cosmic energy fully within oneself. This is what I thought. This is how I look at poetry. So as a moderator, I think I had the first go. So I'm very eager to listen to all of you. Dr. Kshirod Mishra ji, please.
Sir, good evening. I'll not take much time because we are in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful to Dr. Ananta and Asta for sparing their time and being with us in spite of all their busy schedule. And I congratulate the subcommittee for taking the initiative and starting the past program and wish them all the best. And I'll request Dr. Ananta to start because she has to leave.
Oh, no, thank you very much. Can people hear me and see me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So firstly, thank you. Thank you to the organizers for thinking of this wonderful topic and getting us to gather together to talk about poetry, women's health, and generally about poetry and psychiatry. And so I'm deeply honored to be invited and delighted that Astha and I are partnering this because we just met in Jaipur, and to see a fellow psychiatrist and poet is really lovely, and to share thoughts. So I'm flexible with my time. So please do tell me if I'm running over, if you feel that I have to stop. And is it possible? I mean, yes, I can see something about introducing the speakers.
Yes,
That's
yes.
one.
And the chair. So, Dr. Barve, can you just do a quick this?
No, I think we can carry on. It's a small group.
Okay,
We don't
then as
spend
a chair,
time doing
okay.
that. I think best you just
I'd like
put
to
on
introduce
something.
myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Darpan Kaur. I'm a professor of psychiatry, and the moderator is supposed to introduce, but the moderator wants me to introduce, so it's a strange protocol, but I wouldn't mind that. So I think that as the organizer of this program and the advisor to the IPS Art and Cultural Committee, it is my immense pleasure to welcome and invite Dr. Ananta Dave, ma'am, and Dr. Asta for conducting this international poetic webinar on women's mental health. It is my privilege as the chairperson to introduce Dr. Ananta Dave, who is the Chief Medical Officer at NHS Black Country ICB, consultant child psychiatrist NHS UK, trustee Doctors in Distress, presidential lead retention and well-being at RC Psych. She's Churchill Fellowship 2019 and co-vice chair of APNA NHS. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Astha and would like her CV slide. to be shown, and both would be together conducting this program. It's my immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Astha. I think there are two parallel screens. Can you just make it one screen share? Dr. Alkesh? Yes, for the previous slide. Yes. Can you put the screen share? Yes, so without taking much time, Dr. Astha is a psychiatrist who's passionate for creative pursuits for mental health. She's an MBBS from KMC Mangalore and MD Psychiatry from KLE Belgavi and senior resident from UCMS. She's also a section member of the Art and Psychiatry section of WPA and Young Psychiatrist Coordinator for WPA Zone 15 Coordination Committee. She is the program coordinator for Psychiatrica, which was an international conference on art and psychiatry. It was at this Psychiatrica that I met Dr. Astha, ma'am, and Dr. Astha, and I reached out to them from our committee to conduct this program for the women's mental health. And Dr. Asa is also a poet whose work has appeared in Indian literature, Sahitya Academy, Nyaya Gyano Daya, Baya Samkalin, Janmat, and prestigious digital magazines like Poets India. And she was selected for Yuva Fellowship for Young Writers by Raza Foundation in Delhi, and is also a Kathak dancer. And she is also the daughter of a great poet and psychiatrist, Dr. Vinay Kumar. So it's our proud privilege to welcome both of you, and over to both the speakers. And I think first Dr. Ananta would be speaking, and then we will continue with Dr. Asta. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darpan. Now, I don't know whether it is possible to bring my slides up to the screen, Dr. Alkesh. If not, I will try from my side. But if you can, do let me know. But while the slides are coming on, I just want to say, so I have, after many years of scribbling and writing poetry, I have now started calling myself a poet as well as being a psychiatrist. And over the years, this combination of poetry and psychiatry has meant a lot to me. So what I'm about to share are, yeah, if you could just go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So what I'm about to share are personal reflections and my views on why I think it's important to bring poetry and psychiatry together, and in this case, to understand a bit about women's mental health and how poetry can help us. So for me, especially since the time of COVID, I've become increasingly convinced about the need to integrate creative arts, and in my case, poetry, into psychiatry. For long, I tried to keep my personal and professional life separate. I tried to, I think, rigorously practice the science of psychiatry, but somewhere, especially in psychiatry, where there's such a aspect of human interaction and the relational aspect of psychiatry, I think it's really important for us to bring the arts and science together and to think of ways in which we can connect to the other person heart to heart through empathy. And poetry is a good way of doing that. And because this particular seminar covers women's mental health, I have interpreted it as being important, both from the patient's point of view. Of course, we are all there to serve patients, and we all work as clinicians, as psychiatrists. So the way in which we can improve patient care is really important. So how can poetry help us do that? How can it help us be better psychiatrists? How can it help us connect to patients? And how can it help us have yet another bow to our arrow, or arrow to our bow, if you like, of the armamentarium of treatments and interventions when we are hoping for recovery in patients. So that's important. What I also would like to focus on is how poetry can help us as psychiatrists, as clinicians. You know, this whole, right from the beginning of time, we've heard of physician heal thyself. And while we focus on patients, it's really important that we also focus on our own well-being. What makes us keep going? What makes us, continue to find the joy in working clinically and caring for patients? And what is it that helps us have a rounded personality and understand the whole self? So for me, this is important both from a doctor and a psychiatrist point of view, but from a patient's point of view as well. And I just thought I would put a few points out here. This is not an exhaustive list, but one of the ways in which poetry helps us is by looking at non stigmatizing, easily accessible ways which are deeply rooted in our culture of reaching out to people. So, through times immemorial, we've had poets who have, we just heard Dr. Barve talk about Rumi, in the 13th century. We know about Kalidasa in Indian culture. We know about Shakespeare. So, since centuries, we have been hearing about poets and how they understand the whole of the human condition. What we perhaps haven't seen so much of or not celebrated in the same way are women poets. We've had a lot of women poets over the centuries, but we haven't studied them in as much depth or in as much detail. So I'm going to share over the next few minutes some snatches of writings and poetry from women poets, but also trying to make you understand why and how we can use poetry. So, firstly, I think poetry, as we will see over the next few minutes, enables us to express our whole self. We heard some beautiful snippets of poetry from Dr. Barve, who talked about, whether it was Rumi or Shelley, how they actually divined the human condition, how they converted sorrow into art. And Rumi actually said that the wound is the place where the light enters you. So when we experience something, an adversity, it actually also allows us to understand ourselves in different ways and begin the power of healing. So there is something about poetry enabling us to express the whole of ourselves. And then there is something about enabling marginalized voices and new perspectives to be heard. So when women, I'm talking about women poets here because that's what I'm trying to give voice to, but indeed all poets, there is something very deeply personal and very raw and honest and autobiographical elements to poetry, which help us to understand where people are coming from. And poetry, as I said, is such a culturally rooted way of understanding ourselves that we are able to hear from people who might not otherwise have spoken, and we are able to understand their views. Now, where women's mental health is concerned, what we need to understand, I suppose, and where poetry can help us is some of the risk factors that we think about where mental illness is concerned, where mental illness can arise. Experienced by women needs to be kept in mind. So, for example, whether it is about, when there are times of austerity, war, etc., it's women and children who suffer the economic hardship more than men. When you think of things like domestic violence, abuse, harassment, women, of course, men suffer it as well, but women have suffered it in larger numbers. When we talk of the carer burden or looking after people who are dependent in society, 75 to 80% of that work falls to women. When it comes to trying to integrate multiple roles, whether it is outside the house, inside the house, women bear brunt of it. And when it comes to discrimination, whether it is misogyny, whether it is sexual violence, harassment, again, women bear the brunt of it. So there are some risk factors. And now we are increasingly seeing the effect of social media, which can place an unfair burden on women, whether it's body shaming, whether it is about their independence. So there are reasons why women might be at risk, but where their voices are marginalized. And through poetry, women have been able to share unflinchingly some of the things that they go through. And as I said, it says here by respecting cultural context, poetry is deeply rooted in our cultural development. So they are able to express it in ways which resonates with people. The other thing about poetry and creative arts, I suppose, is that we are able to move away from, a focus on privilege or ableism or ability and talk about what it is that brings people together. What are the common elements in a culture? What are things that all of us can identify with or resonate with rather than something being accessible to a privileged few? And finally, creative arts or poetry also enable us to get together and enjoy and share And that element is really important in safeguarding our mental health and in ensuring that we are all able to connect with one another. So I just thought I'd share these general insights. Next slide, please. So now I'll try and share some snippets of poetry. I know I can't read the whole thing. I just wanted to start with something that I had written as part of my poetry collection. And this is to do with identity. As somebody who lived half my life in India and then moved to the UK, I struggled for a long time with identifying myself. Who am I? Am I an Indian? Am I a Britisher? Am I a combination of both? Which should be more dominant? And, what will people make of me? And will I be accepted for who I am? It took me a while to work out. And poetry has helped me understand myself better and express some of the ambivalence I felt over the years while trying to work out who I am. So, just two paragraphs of this poem. It's called A Palette of Light and Shade. And in the middle of the poem, I say, am I the color of my skin, defined by my birth motherland, anointed by my adopted motherland, or in no man's land? Am I the budding hope of spring, the unashamed bloom of summer, the mellow crackling of an autumn or the dreary gray of winter? So these are the ways in which I try to make sense. And then in the end, I say that all these shades, all these shades of the palette are all part of me, the whole of me. So this is the way in which and many poets have expressed, you've heard of poets like Kamala Das, and there's somebody called Prema Vishwanathan, the Indian poets who have written very beautifully about identity. So it helps us to express our identity. Next slide, please. I've tried to look at poets from all parts of the world and all cultures. And there is one poet, you might have heard of her, Christina Rossetti. And this is about the end of our life, when we are coming to the end of our lives for whatever reason, whether it's a physical illness, mental illness, a chronic illness. But how is it that we can make sense of? And I've known people, patients, and colleagues who have been able to take comfort from the writings of people like Christina Rossetti. I mean, there are many people who write, even doctors who have written very beautifully about the end of life. But Christina Rossetti says, miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must make alone, and each must go alone. It's all part of the master plan, a step on the road to home. So she combines beautifully the image of not only death and dying, but how it actually is the culmination of a process. And letting go is important. Letting go so that we are able to quit the world gracefully, but also so that people around us can remember the best of us and remember the love and the warmth. And so miss me, but let me go. And, that's a beautiful way of understanding how it is we deal with the end of life. And next slide, please. And then there is something called confessional poetry, and people would have heard of it. And Sylvia Plath is a very famous poet. She died very young by suicide at the age of 30. And she was a genius right from a very young age. And so she suffered from bipolar disorder and crippling episodes of depression and mania. And, we talked about, understanding mental illness through poetry, how it enables us to understand different phases of life and illness. And how is it that we understand women's mental health problems? And she's written beautiful poetry and, of course, her novel, The Bell Jar, which people might have read, but if not, I would recommend it to you wholeheartedly. It's a beautifully written novel, very, very, very evocative, very moving, raw, honest. Talks about a young woman's journey in a mental institution in the 1940s, but beautifully written. And here Platt says, talking about her own condition, about bipolar disorder. And I thought it's such an evocative description. It is as if my life were magically run by two electric currents, joyous positive and despairing negative. Whichever is running at the moment dominates my life and floods it. And you can imagine, you can immediately imagine the polarizing opposite nature of this illness, but how each of them can be crippling in their own way. And then Kamala Das, I mean, they're known for their confessional poetry, so deeply autobiographical, very raw, honest, unflinchingly honest. Sometimes it can make you cringe. It is so powerful and so intimate, but it helps us to understand what they are going through and how illness can be conceptualized. And Das says, I'm a million people talking all at once with voices raised in clamor like maids at village wells. And it talks about the multiple impressions, the things that women hold within themselves, the multiple roles, the sense they're trying to make of all the demands on them, the expectations on them. How do they, in this chaos, find their identity, find their voice? And really beautiful descriptions of, her sense of identity, autonomy, how she has tried to talk about her own desires and find her own space. Again, I commend Kamala Das's poems to you. Next slide, please. Maya Angelou, another favorite of mine, and she has said, and the reason why we write poetry, whether as psychiatrists, whether as patients, as people in the population, why we write poetry, prose, is we all have a story within us. And she said, there is no greater agony, there is no more unbearable agony than having an untold story inside you. And poetry is a way of saying that. And if we can help patients tell their story, understand their story, and bring it out into the open through poetry that they listen to, others' poetry, or their own poetry that they may write as part of a healing session, a recovery session, or as part of a one-to-one interaction with their doctor or therapist, that really helps them express themselves, but also start the journey to healing. And she's written a very famous novel called I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and there is a poem in it. And she talks about the importance of freedom, how it is that we clamor for freedom, and how the caged bird wants to be a free bird. And Maya Angelou says, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown, but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. And again, how beautifully illustrative of what it is that we all long for. And Maya Angelou, being a Black American writer, had experienced adversity, the effects of slavery amongst her ancestors, and she wrote very poignantly about it. So all of the poets I have referenced, female poets, have allowed us to understand different aspects of a women's situation, but also mental illness and how we understand identity. Next slide, please. I think I've finished the excerpts of poetry. If there is time at the end, I will read some poems. But I just, want to come back to this point of how poetry helps us nurture our whole self. As I said, as a doctor, it helped me understand that my personal and professional lives are not something that I have to strive to keep apart and create a wedge between or a barrier, but I can blend both of them so that I become a better person, a better psychiatrist. And indeed, I've been a patient. I have had episodes of mental illness myself, severe depression, experienced suicidality, and recovered. And a big part of my recovery, of course, I got support from the right people and I took treatment. I took time off work. But what also helped me was reading poetry, reading prose, reading voraciously, and then writing. And the way it poured out of me when I was trying to recover was I just realized it was just waiting inside me, and being able to unburden myself through poetry made a big difference to me. And when I had hidden myself, during the worst of my depression, when I was so worried about the stigma of depression, when I thought that I was a consultant then, and I thought I'm just going to be struck off the medical register. I won't be able to practice. My colleagues will laugh at me. My patients won't trust me. My trainees won't respect me. And I imagined so many negative things about what would happen if people came to know about my mental illness. I just went off work. I didn't seek help for a long time. When I did, many people helped me. One of them was an occupational health consultant where I had to go and be seen whether I was fit to return to work. And in the course of the conversation, I realized that to be a good doctor, I had to be a good patient, which means I had to understand that I could be vulnerable too. I might need help. I might need to pause, and that there are people whom I can talk to. And rather than treating myself, I could take the help of others. And most importantly, what we do in psychiatry is provide hope. That by getting treatment and recovering, I am providing that hope, firstly, to myself that I could come back and be a good doctor, a good psychiatrist. But to all my patients, I wasn't being hypocritical by saying them, himmat mat haro, tum acha ho jaoge, dawai lena. But me, I'm hiding and saying, oh my God, what will happen to me? So that hypocrisy, that cycle of hypocrisy had to be broken. And this helped me. Poetry helped me. So nurturing my whole self is important to me. I think it's important for us as psychiatrists. It's important for patients. So this is who I am, a combination of all these things. But I celebrate every bit of me. And I think that's how I would like to end my talk. And the links at the end, the last slide, are some of the things that I'm doing in the UK to promote poetry in medicine and to make it a part of what we offer to the communities. So I'm very happy to send those links to you later, but I'll end there. Thank you.
I think it was a beautiful expression, beautiful communication. And as you talked about confessional poetry, it sounded more like having a dialogue with us, telling us very openly we are friends, we are interacting as human beings, and we know what is meant by suffering and who suffers and what are the qualifications of the person who suffers is so irrelevant because pain is universal and suffering is also universal. So it's so clear. It's so your transparency was very beautiful, very beautiful. I must appreciate your boldness and openness and transparency in saying what you went through and what you are giving back to the community is so beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing everything that you have gone through and still continue to write. I mean, you're like a beacon now for all the patients and doctors, psychiatrists. I really salute you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I will be here for a short while, but please do excuse me if I leave in the middle of the presentation. I'll try and be here for as long as I can. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Because you are a mother. You are a mother, so you should leave
Yes.
early. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ananta Dave, ma'am. It was really a very inspiring and motivating and poetic experience to listen to you. And I'm sure that all the psychiatrists who are attending, and this talk should also be recorded and uploaded on YouTube. I mean, for generations, psychiatrists who think of creativity, poetry, will refer to our International Poetic webinar, and your heartfelt expressions of your own experiences. And we really salute you and applaud you for sharing it with us. And I'm sure that it will build in a lot of thought on it's a thought change leadership to take in patient perspectives, humanism, and distress, and our medical fraternity as a whole. So I think that you've been doing great work, and it is such a big honor. And I'm sure that your poetry book, many psychiatrists will read it, and you can share the link on the group. And if anyone wants to, purchase ma'am's book or reach out to her, ma'am, we invite you before you leave to share the link on the group. And
Yes, I will.
doctors who are interested to understand poetic perspectives on psychiatry, mental health, can, buy the book, read, and reach out to Dr. Ananta Dave further. And I think that she had to me
Yes. I will share the
that the
link in the group.
proceeds from
Yes.
this book given to charity that she supports. So,
Yes.
ma'am said that some of her work also goes into
Yes, that's right. Very briefly,
doctors
just
and all.
want to say, yes,
So I
doctors
guess
in
let them know
distress.
about this. Yes.
Yes, that's right. Doctors in Distress supports doctors who are suffering from mental health problems or who are suicidal. So I'm a trustee of that charity. So the proceeds from the book go to that charity. And as I said, the book has been my way of collecting my poems and sharing with the world. Some of the poems are about mental illness, grief, identity, belonging, loss. So I'll share the link in the group. Thank you so much, Darpan.
Dr. Ananta Dave, I just want to share. Only last week we had a very deeply moving webinar on burnout and work-life balance. And I was speaking, and I could bring so much of insight from the Indian knowledge system, from what Bhagavad Gita talked about, what is the Panchakosha theories, and what is the Purushartha is, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So it's all being connected, I guess, and I'm so glad that you are here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think Mishra sir has dropped a comment for you. Mishra sir, do you want to uh, comment live? Then you can let us know
Thank
your
you very much,
thoughts,
madam.
Dr. Mishra.
Really, actually, I find this is very inspiring, and others should actually learn from this. And the life is not so smooth. Life is not the bed of roses. So you cannot blame everything in the light for everything. So positivity definitely help. It was really nice listening to madam, and she's busy. Will not hold on to a long time. So we'll go ahead with the Asta's talk. Okay. Thank you very much, madam. It was really nice.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
indeed.
So as the chairperson, I welcome Dr. Astha Sharma to please begin with her talk. Over to you, Dr. Astha.
Thank you, Darpan, for inviting me here. Thank you for the full IPS West Zone Cultural Subcommittee for arranging this. The Poets of Psychiatry group has been really active, and all applause to Darpan for doing it. Keep us connecting, like you have kept us connected all the time. Can I have my slides if it's
Madam, you
okay?
can share your slide because it's not opening in my, like, it's in different format.
Oh, okay. Wait 1 second.
Would anyone like to say a few words about poetry and poems? Till Astha manages things. Darpan, would you like to say something?
Yes, yes. So Dr. Barve sir, maybe I understand that Dr. Asa also wanted to highlight some aspects in this poetic webinar discussion, and also like Dr. Asta to, share us about her journey on what inspired her to, take up poetry and study poetry and mental health. And I request Asta to also let us know her thoughts about what are women's perspectives as
It is a
poets or
genetic
as
loading
psychiatrists
actually.
on women's mental health. Yes,
Darpan, it is
and
a
some
genetic loading.
literature on what she wanted to discuss was on uh, perspective on women's mental health, poetry. These are the areas she wanted, discuss and elaborate. So let's see her to cover these aspects as well. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hello?
If you're Astha, I can hear you very clearly.
Dr. Barvez, would you like to, meanwhile, while if there's any technical issue, would you like to share your journey into creativity?
Okay, I've been not involved in the process of creating. Recently, I've started writing poetry, and I find it's almost like it's almost like entering the patient's life and understand the struggle with which they go through, find themselves. It's a very scattered image that they have. And if possible, maybe I'll later on read some of it. But I think expression and communication is not restricted to poetry. We can see, I had a chance to uh, see, I'm more interested in visual art. So I have seen the exhibition of Vincent van Gogh and also Goya, who was a Spanish painter. So he suffered from bipolar disorder, and so it's so clear that his two states of mind are expressed so poignantly on the canvas. They come out very strong with colors like the sunflower and the monster devouring a baby. I mean, it is so transfixing that one can see that beyond manic depressive psychosis or anything, there is a human being struggling to express. I think now Astha has got what she has put on the screen now. Astha, please go ahead. I
Am
see
I
beautiful.
visible? I'm so sorry for
Yes, yes.
disappearing. The connection
Yeah,
went
yeah,
away.
yeah. No,
Asa, your slides
you're
are visible. Your camera is on. Can you move to your slide 1 and put it in the whole show? Like make it full play. Mark the play.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Okay, if you
we
try
can
to do it full screen, then it's good. This is currently
make a slideshow. Make a slideshow.
yes, yes.
Can you see my screen now?
We can screen your screen, but it's a small version of the screen that we
If
see.
you press play, then it might go in full screen. Can you try
No,
press?
I did that. Can you
Okay,
see
okay.
Oh,
now?
yeah, better.
I'm
Asta,
so
go ahead.
sorry.
Okay, then
Asta,
just
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead with this. Yes.
yeah. Is it visible now what I'm
Yeah,
trying to show?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bearing the interruption in between as well. I'm so glad that Dr. Ananta was talking about inferences from Western poetry and drawing parallels to Indian literature. While talking about this webinar today, I had like serious doubts whether to talk about poetry itself or share what I have written so far. I am quite novice, it's safe to say, in terms of poetry itself. But as I was trying to read and share my knowledge of women who have written, especially in context of Hindi literature, because I'm primarily a poet who writes in Hindi. I try to think of when was the first poetry that was written, or was it even written? And the answer that I got was that it was not written, but it was recited or maybe sung. And somehow the imagination of a woman singing to a child, motherese, as came as maybe probably the first language or the first expression of poetic image that came to my mind. So in my version, or my creative unconscious calls it that probably it was women who invented poetry. We don't know, we still don't know it, but yes, this is a debatable topic. So I was making inferences from Vedic literature, and the first person that came while I researched about it was Vak Ambrihini. She was the daughter of Rishi Ambrihini, and she wrote suktas. Her suktas are found to be one of the most striking, where she has written a lot of thoughtful verses. And coming to Bhakti time, there was another very famous poetic seer from Kannada was Ak Mahadevi. And she has written a lot of mystical verses. She left her family. She was from a royal family. She left her husband and she went on to explore her relationship with God Shiva. And then we got to read her mystic sutras and vachnas that she wrote. Coming back again to Bhaktikal, we cannot skip Mirabai. This is the beautiful temple in Chittorgarh, and I'm just stuck and amazed by the beauty of it every time I go there. So Mirabai created a version of Krishna, which was which was her own version of Krishna. It cannot be same as the one which is in Mahabharata, or which is Krishna's Krishna, or Arjun Krishna's. So her verses and her exploration of the image that she has created is something that we, of course, still revere. Talking about Indian poets, there were so many Indian poets, like from Mahashweta Devi to Kamala Das, Sarojini Naidu. Ananta draws some beautiful parallels and examples of them. And the two most, my favorite poets would, among them were Amrita Pritam and the current poet Anamika. Amrita Pritam in the post-independence era led a life which was starkly a statement in itself. She was again, they are both Sahitya Akademi literature poets who have been awarded. Amrita Pritam was a versatile Punjabi poet, and the kind of life that she lived, the choices that she made, and the amount of poetry that she has contributed to, especially thinking about such poems. One of her favorite lines that stuck to me is उम्र के कागज पर तेरे इश्क ने अंगूठा लगाया, हिसाब कौन चुकाएगा. Anamika is a Hindi poet. She was
Madam,
the
the slide is not
first
moving.
Hindi poet to.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt,
The slide is
Asma.
not moving.
The slides are not moving.
Moving.
Is it moving now?
No.
You may have to click enter button so that it moves because you have, yeah, right.
Yeah, now we can see
Now,
them.
yeah, we see the pictures. We
Yeah.
see Mirabai,
So
we see Mahashweta Devi, Sarojini Naidu, we see.
thank you. Thank you for keeping pace with it. So Anamika, I was talking about Anamika. She was the first first female Hindi poet to win the Sahitya Akademi in 2021. And she redefined feminism in poetry, again, by the kind of choices that she has made, by the experiences that she has lived. One of her four famous poems is called Displaced, and this is the translated version of it, which I'm reading out, is called Without a Place. This is how the shloka goes: women, nails, and hair, once they have fallen, just can't be put back in place, said our Sanskrit teacher. And that poem goes on. मैं कविता हूँ जो अब तक लिखी नहीं गई हूँ, जो अब तक लिखी नहीं किसी ने. कई कवियों की उंगलियों के पोरों तक मैं उठी और लौट गई सपनों तक, अव्यक्त प्रेम की तरह, लिपि नहीं थी कोई मेरी. And of course, talking about Emily Dickinson, we can just go on talking about her and her. At Psychiatrica, we had like hoardings of different poems by her, and one of the poems that stuck to my mind is "The brain is wider than the sky." It's so sad that all her poems were, I mean, most of her poems, most of her work were posthumously published. And we cannot skip talking about Nancy Andreasen. It would be a sin not to talk about her. In 2008, I was told a story of Professor Nancy Andreasen, that she was a professor in Renaissance literature, and she left her profession, of course, to study medicine. When she was sick, and this is her reference, when she was sick postpartum, she says that, what if I've dedicated my life to medicine? If penicillin can save the world, I know that I can build something like that, and it sounds grandiose, but I have always aimed high. And the theories, we are so thankful that Professor Nancy Andreasen left literature to study medicine, to explore how the creative brain works. And one of her books, The Creative Brain, and of course, The Broken Heart and Broken Brain, and etc., are all, I mean, worth reading. I can't force inspiration. Ideas just come to me when I'm not seeking them. When I'm swimming or running or standing in the shower, it happens like magic. I can just see things that other people can't, and I don't know why. So, of course, her theories are quite different. She sees it like creativity as a process that the person seeks out for a problem using a process to create something. But it's just not a creation of beauty or just like a thing of joy forever, maybe. But it talks about it being tangible, its societal usefulness, and its adaptability. And that's how where all the theories of creativity converge. When we are talking about women who have written, we also need to talk about men who wrote on women, and it's equally important that we celebrate them. And the first person that comes to my mind, of course, Pablo Neruda. I had to draw a parallel. There is a poet in Hindi literature called Kumar Mukul. and he has written poet about women's feet. And I thought that, is there anyone else who has probably written about women's feet? And of course, it was Neruda, who has written from eyes to beautiful women to everything. And the sensuality with which Neruda describes women is is a thing in itself. We need to read him. Talking about Dinkar, I mean, of course, we know Dinkar for Parshuram Ki Pratiksha and everything, but he received Gyan Peeth for his Kavikhand Urvashi. Dharmveer Bharati's most beautiful collection of poetry is Kanupriya, where Radha dreams about Krishna and explores her sensuality, and it's such a beautiful book as well. Going in row, we have to talk about Yakshini, Dr. Vinay Kumar's compilation of Kavinatika, which was adapted into a play by National School of Drama recently. And this is a story of how a sculpture narrates her ancestral pain through the person who crafted her. And it's her story in a very dramatic way. And the most important thing I realized about men who wrote and women is that they have most important, strong feminine figures in their life. So this is what I had to speak on this. And now I have a couple of poems. So if I have time, probably I would like to recite a couple of poems that I have written. Is that okay with
Please,
everyone?
please go ahead. Very good.
Thank you so much. So I don't realize that I'm such a I'm probably somebody who I would say myself like a feminine poet or someone. But while I was looking for poems that I could recite today and whatever has been published till date, I realized that a concurrent theme that has come up in all of these is my grandmother, my caretaker, my my nanny, or someone like that. So women have emerged like metaphors in my poem. And the first poem that I think probably got published in 2018
Dr.
was about my caretaker.
If you need your slides to be displayed for any poetry, then just move them. They're not moving.
Can you see them now?
Now we can see the earlier slide only. Can you move it down?
Hmm.
Yes, this
Yeah,
slide is on men who wrote on women.
yeah.
Can you see the current slide?
It's men who wrote on women.
Can you see the current slide again now?
We can
Or
see that. We can see that Urvashi and Kanupriya. Can you go ahead?
I'm going, actually, it's not moving. So I'll
The
just.
next slide? Yes, these are your poems.
Oh, I think you'll have to read them because
Yes,
they
yes.
are too small to read
Yeah,
on the
of course, I'm
screen.
reading them, but can you see the slides as well?
Yes, we
So,
can. We see the beautiful miniature paintings.
Yes, you go
so
ahead, please. Yes.
thank you so much. So the first poem was about my caretaker. I lived with her for around 15 to 16 years. And this painting is about Mithila painting because she was from Mithilanchal. So the poem goes like this: Mithila ki us स्त्री के लिए. I'm going to recite a couple of two or three Hindi poems and one English poem. I'm primarily written in Hindi, so I'm sorry if somebody is not able to catch it. तब से लिखना था तुझ पे जब से अपने नुकीले नक्श, नाचती आंखें और रस घोलती आवाजों से बांध लिया था तुमने. आवाज जो मिथिला से उठती और रसोई से बरामदे तक हर कोने में गूंजती. तब से लिखना था तुझ पे जब से 60 70 80 बरस कथा बनकर झरने लगे तुम्हारी भाषा ही नहीं भंगिमाओं में भी, और हम निशब्द स्तब्ध श्रोताओं की तरह मोतियां बटोरते रहे. तब से लिखना था तुझ पे जब से मौजूद था यह खौफ कि ये हाफती गुड़गुड़ाती सांसें रुक जाएंगी किसी न किसी अध्याय के बीच, किसी अधूरे वाक्य के अल्प विराम पर. तब से लिखना था तुझ पे जब से कल्पना में थी यह शाम जब तुम्हारे शब्दों से भरी मेरी आत्मा पुकारेगी तुम्हें और तुम्हारी ही स्मृतियों से टकराकर घेर लेगी मुझे मेरी ही आवाज. मामा,
Mhm.
क्या तुम्हारी अनुपस्थिति भी मिल जाएगी मिट्टी में तुम्हारी काया की तरह.
Oh.
Mama is again reference to grandmother because in Bihar we call grandmothers as mama. Now they have 4 series of poem on Raat. You can interrupt me anytime. I have just one more poem in English and then that's done. वक्त पै रहन है, क्यों आते हैं ख्वाब रात के तीसरे पहर जब चांद ढलने को है और आसमान गहरे से थोड़ा कम नीला। जब लिखते हैं सन्नाटे अपनी सिफारिशें और आंखों की पुतलियां बेचैन तेज रफ्तार से भागती, बिखेरती ख्वाबों के कैनवास पर नए रंग, मैं उठती हूँ आंखों के पर्दे पर लिए उस 8 पीस की तस्वीर। तुम्हें कैसे बताऊं कि मैंने क्या देखा कल रात। The second poem in the series is चुप्पी और चीख। चुप्पी और चीख।
One second. Can you show the second poem on the screen as well? Move the slide to your next poem. Yes, yes, great. Please.
चुप्पी और चीख में कितना फर्क है, आवाज भर का। अनगिनत चीखे हैं काली रातों के, कुछ चुप्पियों से टकराकर लौट आती हैं नींद की कोठरियों में, और फिर छलक आते हैं आंखों के वृत्त से बिना आवाज किए।
वाह,
तकलीफ। तकलीफ इज अबाउट एंसेस्ट्रल पेन अगेन। तकलीफ मेरे रगों में बह रही है, आज से नहीं कई सालों से, शायद मेरे जन्म के पहले से भी। एक बार एक कोशिका ने देखा एक स्वप्न, यह लाल शायद उसी का रंग है जो उतर रहा है मेरी रगों में। मैं किसे कहूं कि बांट ले इसे, सुनेगा कोई यह तकलीफ जो पुरखिन है? काश यह एक पुड़िया होती जिसे मैं तुम्हें थमा देती। द लास्ट वन इन द सीरीज इज सपनीले कह गए। बेचैन है यह
Also,
सुबह,
move to the
बेचैन।
last slide, please. So the audience when can move to your
no,
last poem.
she has her fourth poem is on the
Yes.
slide. Go ahead.
Okay, this is the fourth
Asta,
poem.
go ahead.
The previous
Yeah.
one, previous one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fine. Yes, the fourth slide.
बेचैन है ये सुबह, please.
Yes, yes.
थैंक यू।
हाँ.
बेचैन है यह सुबह, बेचैन रातों की तरह। हम फिर भी जाग जाएंगे बेचैन फड़फड़ाते, पर नहीं जानते कि रात जो खूबसूरत स्वप्न लेकर बैठी है कैसे उतरेगी इन खुली आंखों में। गोलियों से नहीं सोते स्वप्न, वे बेघर तलाशते हैं नींद की कोठरियां। उफ, एक सूना नीड़ और तमाम कौवे।
Uh-huh.
So this is the end of my Hindi poems, and the last one probably, which was about an old woman and her conversation with her son. And she's, of course, struggling with dementia, so she doesn't remember things. It's called Conversations in the Oblivion. This is probably the last poem that got published in this year. Don't ask me now to remember redundant names, faces, and facts that I struggle to forget all my life. Don't ask me now to comprehend the meanings of signs, gestures, manners, and relations I spent all my youth teaching you. You ask me the name of my father and wonder why I cry. You ask me the season in which I got married and wonder why do I frown. Well, I would like to keep you wondering, what's the use at this point in my life? I can see that you are not happy when I cannot remember the day. I know, but I won't speak. I think sometimes I like to see you struggling so hard to teach me how to write my name. I won't make it easier for you, son. I will learn slowly. Now don't lose your patience. It's just to keep you close till I can.
Uh-huh. Beautiful.
So
Would anyone like to comment what Astha has written? Mishra ji?
This is really excellent, sir. Because this shows the genetic loading. This is shows that actually how the genetics can be also there in poems and other aspects of art and culture. Really nice.
I think I would like to say Astha has chosen words very beautifully. There are words which are of day-to-day use, but they become so meaningful when they're woven in a beautiful pattern. So it's not about using many metaphors or analogies. It's way of expressing the deeper anguish that we feel about life and about self and about people around us. So it comes in a very simple form. The simplicity is simpler it is, more deeper it is, I believe. And you have said it so beautifully about your nanny, her loss, and the last one about her voice coming out. So beautiful. And the relationship between the son and the mother who is in a very, very interesting way. She says, I would like you to teach me, take a little longer so that you will be with me. So in those two lines, everything about life has come alive. With the, the feeling of the relationship.
Asta, it's a great presentation. As a chair of this session, I'd like to make my comment that you have conducted it very, very beautifully, and you're a very talented poet who connects and writes from the heart and speaks from the heart. So I think it's a very beautiful poetic connect, and your poems that you've read is so inspiring, so appealing, so heart touching, and a great creative person you are. And thank you so much for conducting this poetic webinar on women's mental health. And I can see that Dr. Vinay Kumar sir is also there in the audience, as he's a great poet himself. If Dr. Vinay Kumar sir would like to unmute and on the camera, we invite him to give his comments, sir. Dr. Vinay Kumar sir?
Please.
Please, Dr. Vinay Kumar sir, would you like to join?
दिनेश सर बिजी होंगे.
Okay, yes. So if there are any questions from the audience, they can drop it in their chat box, or they can uh, uh, unmute themselves, and you can ask them live to Dr. Asta, or any comment to Dr. Rajendra sir. And over to you, Dr. Barve sir. You can
Okay.
continue with the Q&A. And if
Please.
you would like to ask Asta yourself some questions, you can please proceed.
Astha would like to know how do you play with words so beautifully? You come out, you write. It's a very spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions, as Wordsworth might say. Uh, how do you choose, or just intuitively you have been writing?
I think it comes very naturally, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much for appreciating that. But I think it comes very naturally to me. I have written quite less, I think, and it's because when I feel something quite deeply, and when I'm literally moved by something, because all these poems are maybe through personal loss, or maybe struggling with, struggles with medical profession and all those things,
Okay.
and a conflict that I always had, that I left literature to become something else. So I think probably during that period of conflict, and from that, I think metaphors arises. Of course, having the background of born in a family where we discussed all poets and writers at dining table, so that's entirely a different thing. But I think that's how the natural thing comes up.
And I think for a poet to read more and more poetry also makes sense, because it
Of course,
really,
like Dr. Ananta was speaking about that,
yeah.
during her challenges, she read a lot, and until unless, because I was told that if you're not read enough, then probably you will write like the first poetry that was written in the world. So I think it's very important that we keep ourselves updated and keep ourselves nurturing our
When we're
creative inputs.
talking about men writing about women, and I was reminded of Jayadeva, the Odissi poet, who wrote the beautiful story of Radha and Krishna. And
Yes.
this is how he describes Radha's longing for Krishna. They're coming together, their union, and the rhythm of their union. And it is so ethereal, though it's so sensuous. At the same time, it is so spiritual. And Radha becomes real. Becomes real. She becomes more important than Krishna also. Like in non-bhakti cult, Radha is more important than Krishna, because Krishna is something that you are looking out for. And Radha is like
Yeah.
us. We are looking out for Krishna. So her emotions, her suffering strikes a chord with us. That's why Meera appeals to us so much. And in Marathi, there are many female poets. Those have written very beautifully about very ordinary life, about, their daily chores, when they're doing, how they miss, and how they think the Krishna or the deity is with us, and how he or how she's being helped by him. And beautiful poem is by Eknath, is about Ratra Kali, Ghagar Kali, which describes everything in a very dark state. It's all about dark state, and this is the heroine, the protagonist. She's female. He describes everything as dark, and only enlightenment she gets when she carries the idol of her deity with her, and everything brightens. So rather than the night is dark, she's carrying the pitcher that is also dark. Her hair is dark. Everything is dark. Everything is dark. But the moment she picks up that, everything illuminates so beautifully. So beautifully written. And it's like almost you are there. I mean, every time you read it, every time you experience it, it's like tearfulness, the only thing that I can say that I experience.
I can see Dr. Arpana Pokharel from Nepal. She has written a comment. So,
Okay.
if you would like to join the discussion, unmute yourself. And if you're able to start your camera, we'd love to see you give us your message or thoughts on this webinar. Are you there, Arpana?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, hi,
Good
It
evening.
was so
evening.
nice meeting you all after
Nepal.
a long time, yes. And Dr. Asta, as always, she has spoken very diligently, and it comes in gene, whatever she has spoken, those things are very meaningful and deeper. So I like the more of a dementia part, so how the mother she expects from her son, and the way she has narrated things. It is very beautiful, Dr. Asta. Very well done, and
Oh, thank you. Thank
congratulations
you,
and
Arpana.
best wishes. Okay. Thank you,
Thank you, Arpana.
thank you,
And
ma'am, for opportunity.
If you're closing, I have a beautiful poem by Amrita Pritam about meeting again. When we are done, I would like to say it.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. मैं तेनू फिर मिलांगी. That might appeal to you, Darpan. मैं तेनू फिर मिलूंगी. I'll meet you yet again, how and where I know not. Perhaps I'll become a figment of your imagination, and maybe spreading myself in a mysterious line on your canvas. I'll keep gazing at you. When the body perishes, everything perishes. But the threads of memory are woven of enduring atoms. I'll pick these particles, weave the threads, and I'll meet you yet again. I'll meet you yet again.
Thank you, sir.
I think we are going to meet again. That's why I chose this poetry by Amrita Pritam, that we're going to meet again because we got to meet. And if we don't really meet, our hearts are connected. Because what binds us together is poetry, literature, expressions of sorrow, sadness, aspirations, and love. It was a great evening. I wish we could hear something from Vinay Kumarji, but I guess that's why we have to meet again.
I'm here,
Yeah, okay.
Rajendra ji, I'm here
Okay,
just like an audience. I'm audience today.
Good evening.
Humble on.
Yes,
I was
good
enjoying. I
evening.
was enjoying two talks and listening poetry.
Yes, good evening.
So
We invite
it's
you.
not my day. I'm in the audience. I'll not speak anything. I'll not speak anything. Just a couplet from Jigar Sahab. कि शायरे फितरत हूँ, शायरे फितरत हूँ, जब भी फिक्र फरमाता हूँ मैं, रूह बन के जर्रे जर्रे में बिखर जाता हूं मैं.
Oh, oh, oh.
Poetry is all about this, all about this.
Yeah. बिखर जाना.
Another couplet from beautiful couplet for this is सिमटे तो दिले आशिक, फैले तो जमाना है, एक लब से मोहब्बत का इतना सा फसाना है. Poetry is all about this. At times it comes to you only and you express yourself. This is your poetry. When it is published, it becomes everybody's poetry. तो सिमटे तो दिले आशिक, फैले तो जमाना है. With these few words, thank you very much for this beautiful evening. I was here listening. Rajendra ji, you are wonderful. You are wonderful. I remember listening your voice for the first time in a cassette, a series of interviews you took, Dr. Vig and Dr. Neki and all. It was wonderful and wonderful interview. That inspired me to start a series of interview for some people, and that came as a book. It's a collection of 11 psychiatrist interview.
Great,
Dr. Neki,
great.
Dr. Last one is Dr. Mohan Agashe in that,
Okay.
and the first one is Dr. S.T. Sharma, then Neki, Agrawal Sahab, Big Sahab, Salman Akhtar, and Dinesh Bogra. Kolada Sahab, like so people, I thought that who will be available and who can give time. So that book is very popular. I recorded everything at their home. I visited their home. I recorded everything. Then I transcribed, and now it's available in the form of book in Hindi, which was available at the event we organized recently, WPA Art and Psychiatry Section meeting in Jaipur, Psychartica. So the book was available and around more than 100 copies were sold there. So
great. Congratulations, sir.
So and the conference, I think you would your presence there or your participation would have been a great asset. So looking forward for the next edition.
Sure, sir.
And your where you will be sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to keep quiet, but my name was coming again, so I thought, okay, I must say thank you, Bhaiya. I was very much here.
आपने 2 कपलेट क्या सुनाए कि सब भारी हो गया.
नहीं, कुछ नहीं है वो. अब जिगर साहब बड़े शायर थे.
ऐसे है, मतलब ऐसा है कि हम सब चुप रह गए सुनते रह गए सिर्फ कि क्या बात है, क्या बुजुर्गों ने कहा है, और इतनी कशिश है उसमें. बहुत
सारी बातें है, वो चीजें इतनी ज्यादा है. उस दिन साइकार्टिका की इवनिंग में डिनर के समय विवेक बेनेगल कह रहे थे हम लोग को ऐसी जूम मीटिंग करनी चाहिए जिसमें कि दुनिया भर की पोएम्स हम लोग रिसाइट करें, कुछ जो अपनी लिख रहे हैं, कुछ वो कर रहे हैं, खुद को तो ओरिएंट करें और कम्युनिटी को बड़ा करें. अदरवाइज आर्ट इलिटरेट साइकियाट्रिस्ट भरे जा रहे हैं. I think we are going to upload everything on YouTube and बहुत अच्छा टॉक था विवेक बेनेगल का. It was on neuroscience of awe and neuroscience of awe, AWE awe. Yes, AWE awe, and it's beautiful. And at the end, when the time came for question and answer, I just commented कि I am trying to inculcate awe in our fellow colleagues because they are losing. They have become quite mechanical. Nothing inspires them. Nothing moves them. Okay, that's depression. It's like this Sister Labram will do. Life is not that. So they are. I think they are
every poetry,
reading AI models.
Yeah, every poem creates awe. I mean,
yes,
awe.
Yes.
One line, one word. एक लफ्ज भी काफी होता है.
एक लफ्ज भी. विनोद कुमार शुक्ल एक हिंदी के पोएट से अभी गुजर गए, तो उनका था कि मैं सबसे छोटी कविता लिखना चाहता हूँ, एक शब्द, और वो भी नहीं, सिर्फ चुप रहना चाहता हूँ. अगर वो कविता हो सके तो बड़ी बात है.
वाह.
तो ऐसा भी मिनिमलिस्टिक अप्रोच भी रहा है पोएट्स का. जस्ट अभी वी लॉस्ट हिम लास्ट वीक. विनोद कुमार शुक्ल, ज्ञानपीठ अवॉर्डी एंड पेन अवॉर्डी एंड ऑल. Silent writer sitting in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Never visited many places and got all awards, Sahitya Academy, Gyanpith, and then Pain Award. It was translated in Pain Award, like that, and then and made a kind of benchmark in royalty also. One publisher gave him 30 lakhs rupee check, and that 30 lakhs, one book, royalty from one book in 1 year, 30 lakhs.
Wow.
So writing is about talking to yourself,
Hmm,
keeping
hmm,
everything, everybody, entire world in your inside you.
hmm,
Then you
hmm,
talk to yourself. Poetry is like
hmm,
that.
hmm,
You have to
hmm.
talk to yourself,
Yeah.
not like a schizophrenic, but obviously like a person who has all A's connected.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Vinayji. Wonderful. And you just brought memories which so wonderful. That was in 90s, 80s.
Yes.
The first attempt, there were no videos, nothing.
Sun Pharma
Cassettes.
gave us cassettes. I think,
Yeah.
yes, in 99, I got it some 97, 98 or something.
Yeah, right.
It was given, and then Rajendra Verve, and there was no photograph on that also. So I said, who is that man? But later I came to know, because when I
Yeah.
became active in psychiatry and
Yeah.
started
Okay,
knowing
sir.
people,
Yeah.
then we knew each other.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Rajendra, so we will meet sometime, and
Sure.
keep
So,
yourself prepared
sir,
mentally to join
thank
next
you.
edition of Sakatika. Bye.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Thank you.
Vinay, sir. I just wanted to mention that I saw your comment, the hearts on Astha's recitation. Then I saw you were there. Then I think I thought that we should invite you to talk. And by you coming here, it is very nice and a very good honor. And I want to know your thoughts, sir. How did you feel your daughter is becoming such a big poet and her creativity? What are your thoughts as a father? Vinay, sir, are you there?
She has taken few steps,
Yes. How is
but
your
that's all.
feeling as a
She has
father?
taken few steps. She has taken few steps.
Okay, thank you, sir. I also want to tell you thank you for organizing Psychiatrica, because the conception or the idea of this program took place at Psychiatrica when I discussed with the Ananta ma'am and Astha, and it's at Jaipur that we decided we will go ahead with this program, and our art and cultural committee supported it, and Mishra sir also supported it, and our chair, Dr. Alkesh Patil, he also supported the idea. So we then in very few days time planned this webinar before the year end, and it was very nice that Ananta ma'am and Astha, we wanted first it to be like a all focused on women's mental health primarily, so we had decided to keep the speakers both women, and just as how the idea we thought बहुत
Excellent.
अच्छा webinar हो गया, और international true sense में we had people from UK, we have people, no, we had psychiatrists from Nepal. So our audience is comprising lot of our global members as well. And I just want the audience to know this is in collaboration with the Poets of Psychiatry, which is a small WhatsApp group which collects psychiatrists who are interested in poetry. If any one of you is interested to join the group, Asta is also a member of the group. Vinay sir is also, you can just reach out to us. It's a small WhatsApp group where in future we will keep on doing more collaborative programs. So thank you so much, Vinay sir. And आप और कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे पोइटिक वे में? नहीं, अच्छा सर, म्यूटेड है। कुछ आप पोइट्री वे में बोलना चाहेंगे, या anyone who wants to end this webinar in a poetic way, you're more than welcome. Barve sir or Mishra sir, if anyone wants to recite a poetry, Vinay sir, Astha,
Dr. Pat,
poetic.
Dr.
Anyone wants to recite?
Dr. Patil wants to say, I guess, something.
I think, and Barve sir, we have Dr. Patil sir, Pradeep Patil sir.
Yeah.
Are you there, sir? Because Dr.
Yeah,
Patil
he wants to say something. He
will
has
be
raised
giving
his
the
finger, right?
official vote of thanks. So, Barve sir, whenever I think if we decide to close it, we've kept 7:30 the time
Yeah.
to close. So, if there are no more comments, we can consider to close.
Yeah.
And thank you, Barve sir. You have being a senior psychiatrist who's such a creative and dynamic person and a renowned psychiatrist. You have more graciously agreed to moderate the program, and you conducted it so well that we are very grateful to you from the committee. And if Dr. Alkesh Patil, as the chairperson of the Art Cultural Committee, if he's there, he can share his thoughts, or we will proceed. Mishra sir would like to talk anything towards the end. Mishra sir and Dr. Alkesh, if you would like to comment, please let us know. Alkesh, if you want to
Yes,
on your camera
yes.
and thoughts.
Yeah. So
Yes,
we can
Alkesh.
go.
Great,
We can
great.
move ahead with the vote of thanks with Dr. Patil sir.
Okay, Alkesh, thank you so much as the chair. It's been a great program. You want to share your thoughts on it? It's the first international seminar.
Yeah, it was a very nice program. It was and the first program for this academic year, and with the permanent support, business support, or observation support, it has become very nicely, and we are ended nicely. And I think in this year we can go ahead with more programs on poems and other arts also. And next time we can try to keep it in more in person, and we'll just figure out how to do it.
Sure.
So we'll go ahead with vote of thanks, Dr. Pradeep Patil sir.
Pradeep Patil. Okay. Now, Pradeep Patil, sir, please start
Yes.
your. Yes, sir.
Yeah. भार नहीं अभिभार है ये, भार नहीं अभिभार है ये, मन के तरंग का हृदय से आभार है ये, मन ये तरंग का हृदय से आभार है ये. On behalf of the Indian Psychiatric Society of Western Zone Art and Cultural Subcommittee and the Poets of Psychiatry group, I am very much thankful to Dr. Ananta Dave. She has very rightly conveyed to us, the question is not how to survive. The question is not how to survive, but how to thrive with passion, compassion, humor, and style. Ma'am, thank you very much. I am very much thankful to Dr. Asta Sharma, who has very rightly said in her poet, Agony of Hope. And she has talked about Astamadevi, Mirabai, Amruta Pritam, Anamika. I will like to mention over here one Marathi poet, Dr. Barvesar is here, Shanta Bai Shedke. She tells, मन वढाय वढाय उभ्या पिकातलं ढोर किती हाकला हाकला फरी येतं पिकावर. So you have conveyed the same message. Asta madam, I am society is very much
Bahinabai, sir.
thankful.
That's Bahinabai. 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 She's
Shedke.
Bahinabai, not Shanta Shedke. Not Shedke,
Okay.
not Bahinabai. Right?
And sir, आपकी तो बात ही क्या कहना है. So I have visited one that book seminar was there. Books were kept, and all of your books were there. So when I was student, I was reading your books. So you have done moderation in such a nice way, sir. Thank you very much. I am very much thankful to Dr. K.K. Mishra, sir, for giving his presidential address. And he has rightly said, life is not bed of roses. Thank you very much, sir. And Vinay Kumar, sir came to our institute when Dr. Behere was there. So Vinay Kumar sir has shown me his some of the poems. और सर ने तो आज बहुत अच्छी रंगत ला दिया. सर का क्या
बिल्कुल.
कहना. सर और एक प्रोग्राम हमको रखना ही पड़ेगा और हम आपको जरूर बुलाएंगे, भूलेंगे नहीं, याद करेंगे. जैसे तब से लिखना था तुझ पे, मैडम ने कहा है, तब से लिखना था तुझ पे, तो मैडम तब से सुनना था आपसे और तब से सुनना था विनय कुमार सर से.
Wow.
तब से सुनना था विनय कुमार सर से. I am very much thankful to all the participants. There were 45 numbers of participants I have calculated, and their comments also. और जाते जाते सबका आभार प्रदर्शन करते करते मैंने पहले ही बोला कि भार नहीं अभी भार है ये, मन ये तरंग का हृदय से आभार है ये. तो कुछ कुछ ऐसे शायर रहते हैं. कमर हयात साहब है नागपुर के. जितने भी बाइपोलर डिसऑर्डर के या सिजोफ्रेनिया के पेशेंट्स आते हैं, वो they are on from so many years on benzodiazepines and other things. सो एक कमर हयात साहब का एक शेर मैं उनको सुनाता हूँ। सो जाते हैं जमी पर अखबार बिछाकर, सो जाते हैं जमी पर अखबार बिछाकर, मजदूर कभी नींद की गोली नहीं खाते। तो when I go for this, some of my patients, they were free from benzodiazepines. So thank you very much for
Okay.
keeping all this
Okay.
program.
Thank
I
you,
am
sir.
very much thankful to our subcommittee, and thankful to Dr. Mishra sir for giving us chance, and I'm thankful uh, to all of our leaders to give me a proposal, this vote of thanks.
Thank you.
आभार,
Thank you.
सबका
Yes,
आभार.
sir.
सबका
So thank you,
धन्यवाद.
Dr. Pradeep Patil, sir. I just like to introduce the committee as well, because the committee has played a good role. So myself and Dr. Pradeep Patil, sir, are serving as the advisor, and Dr. Alkesh Patil is the chair. And currently, for organizing this program, we three have taken a good committee lead to participate in it. And we are planning future national webinars as well. And we do have some more members who have been added by Mishra sir in our committee. And we're also thankful to the secretary, Dr. Abhijit Fai sir, and this technical team who from the zone coordinates and gives us the Zoom link. And these are recorded and uploaded on the IPS West Zone webinar. So we thank all the IPS West Zone office bearers, Mishra sir as the Honorable President, Dr. Abhijit Fai sir as the Honorable Secretary of the zone, our treasurer, our editor, and our immediate past president, Dr. Sudhir Bhave sir. The Money Tarang webinar series, I had proposed it and started last year as the chairperson, and I'm so glad that Dr. Alkesh Patil as a chairperson, we have decided to continue our webinar series. And last year we had done a whole of programs focused on different areas of music, song, dance, poetry, storytelling, which was for the zone, by the zone, of the zone last year. And this year we broadened our horizons. And in January, New Year, when it began, it was the first Mani Tarang webinar on poetry and in psychiatry. And the year ends with the Poets of Psychiatry poetry program, and we've gone international. So within a year's span, we were local, but we thought global. And next year, we're going to bring in many more national and international workshops, webinars, whatever we can do online from the Mani Tarang series. And Dr. Alkesh, as the chair, has also last year, along with me and Dr. Sagar, we organized one CME and cultural program at LTMC Mumbai. And we announced to all the viewers and our zone that we will continue to do one or some more programs in Mumbai. We have 2 programs lined up from the committee. We are planning to come out with a book on creativity, which we aim to release at the midterm CME. We will begin work and invite our psychiatrists to contribute for the same. And we're also planning to do one exhibition of various creative pieces, either during the zonal conference, maybe, or during the midterm CME. So these 2 are our pipeline for the next year, and one in-person program. So thank you all the viewers, and thank you so much, and good evening.
Good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Bye.
Good night.